G'day guys. Yeah, not a bad spot this morning. I'm here with my cousin Ali. Ali, say g'day.
G'day.
She was in town, she was in Italy, and I thought, you know what, why don't you come across the south of France? We're at a boat show, we're at the Cannes Boat Show if you didn't already know. Hopefully you've been following my videos this week. We're on a super amazing boat. So this is the ZAR Imagine 130 with the twin V12 600 horsepower Mercuries. This is my first experience with these motors. If you're interested in a test drive, follow the link coming up on your screen now. I have just done a test drive, done blisteringly fast speeds, and this hull is incredibly well matched for those motors. But that's another story. You came for the walkthrough, that's what this is. ZAR, these guys have been around for about 40 years. They're Italian. You're Italian?
Yep.
How's your Italian?
Pretty poor. Molto bene.
Molto bene. No. I suck at languages. I tell myself I'm good, but I'm really not. So yeah, we're going to walk through this boat. She's about 46 feet overall. She's about a 10-ton boat, 1,200 litres of fuel. She gets you where you want to go fast. She would be an amazing super yacht tender. She's an epic Mediterranean exploration boat and the ultimate lunch boat, as you will see. So I think what we will do, we'll start at the back of the boat. We've got it in skyhook mode, so I'm going to be cautious. Ali, you maybe sit there, and then you're going to be testing out the lounges for me today.
Okay. I'll tell you everything I know nothing about.
That's okay. Well, at least you're honest. So I'll head to the back of the boat. Steve, you come around and just try and get some of this into the picture. So I'm no expert on these V12s yet, I'm still learning, but from what I just experienced, these things have got an amazing opportunity for the boat world. This ZAR was specifically designed for these motors, so that was a bit of a partnership with Mercury. They've really hit the nail on the head with this one because the thing performs like you wouldn't believe. But a couple of advantages that I have discovered when talking or talking to the Mercury guys about these motors, you don't need to service them out of the water. So just think about that for a sec. We've got 1,200 horsepower in total. Some motors that can be serviced at 200-hour intervals, and you don't have to take the thing out of the water. So obviously they trim out to get the legs out of the water when you're at rest or when you've packed the boat up. But one thing that you may not be aware of is that these engines, this is how they are. Straight like this. They don't turn like a traditional outboard, because you imagine the weight in these things, V12s, if you turn, you're probably going to throw the center of gravity off so considerably that you would actually notice it in the performance of the vessel. So it does actually make sense for them just to retain a forward and aft attitude like this, and that the turning is going on below the waterline, the props themselves. So that's super interesting. And the other thing, which I noticed today, it's got 2 gears. You basically start in first gear and then you transition to frickin' warp speed. And it's noticeable and it's really, really enjoyable. So that was just a hell of a lot of fun. I've done the test drive video if you're interested, but what this enables us to do is have quite a usable transom, because you know we can have the maximum amount of space because we're not worried about the engines turning to the side. Now, safety warning, if you've got it in skyhook mode, make sure you pay attention to it because the boat is moving, so I am alert to it. Don't send your kids out here if they don't know what they're doing. That'd be dangerous. So I've got this beautiful big swim platform out the back here. Got a swim ladder, obviously. This is all teaked. I've got speakers out here, they're controllable. I have some courtesy lights, and I've got my first set of stainless steel pop-up cleats just here. Shore power on the port side and swim shower on the starboard side. These just here are going to be takeoffs for a pole and a sunshade, I would assume. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I assume that's what it is. Next thing, because this is not an inboard boat that they've stuck a couple of outboards on, they've designed this area, so hopefully you can see that, Steve. Just make sure everyone can see. This area here, oh, big bumblebee or something. Go away, bee. Maybe the bees don't sting as bad here, I don't know. But they've designed this area to be suitable for outboards. So many boats were, or big ribs or maxi ribs, they were originally inboard boats. So this was just an engine bay. and they just stuck some outboards. So the center of gravity or the balance maybe is not perfect the way it should have been originally designed, because they might have originally designed it to have weight here and now you got weight there, and you do notice that in the performance. This boat, obviously designed for these motors, meaning this area can be a tender garage, which it is. And they've also, just here, oh yeah, feel the power, love it. So just in here, we've got these neat little rope lockers. So I've just got a cover in this one, I've got a flexible hose in that one, in perfectly convenient location, and the lounge is designed in such a way that it comes up, you don't have to take the cushion off. So that's handy. Ali, jump on and test the lounge for me. Your lounge tester, official lounge tester today. How's the foam?
Yes, comfortable. Puts my bed to shame.
So no shade there at the moment. If you want shade, you've got to be forward from what I'm observing there. Note that we've got these cushions on the side here, which seem to go down a way. So I don't fully understand that yet, but maybe I will as we walk through.
This looks like it comes out.
Yeah, I know. I don't quite understand that yet. But this detail here, which is part of the styling, that's actually a handhold as well. So if you were there going warp speed, put your hand over here, it's actually a handhold.
Oh,
Notice?
handy.
Yeah.
Needed.
Well, it's kinda. So then coming forward, so Steve, maybe you start to go forward a little bit. Let's get all this in shot. As you enter the boat, you can either enter port or starboard, and it's designed to enter it from this like elegant sort of centre companionway. You've got two more courtesy lights, one step onto the teak. You got the lounges in the two options. Well, exactly. That's the aft option. So if you pull up at the restaurant, as you do here, they've got all these bougie restaurants, and you can just back up, and they have a mooring line that you pick up. You can face back and go, look at me with your cocktail.
True.
Or if you're underway, jump on that one, just have a seat on that side. So this is in the back position, that's in the forward position. So now you can do lunch mode. See? 2 people, 3 people, no problems.
Where's my lunch?
Yeah, easy. So then you enter here. So the tender garage is underneath it. So it hinges from this location just here. But then there's also an equipment space which hinges the other way. So we'll have to cut to some shots of that. But that is in this part of the boat, and it's all very accessible. This hatch here is access to the fuel tanks, which can be refueled from inside there. So that is actually a neat little vented locker, and you fuel up just there. So that's kind of cool. It keeps it out of the way, nice and stylish, and you can also control any fuel spin, so nothing's going to go into the environment if that's what happened. So this looks like natural teak tables just here and here. They're removable, and then once you enter, the solid T-top starts from here. So these people, so just there, you're starting to get a bit of protection. You definitely got protection there and there.
Yep.
And the design of it, it's very solid, no movement, and it's great at warp speed, something you do need to consider. You even need to think about aerodynamics when you're getting on a boat like this, because the speeds that it's capable of are noticeable. So things like, what sort of hat are you going to wear? Are the girls putting a headband on their hair? That's actually stuff you've got to think about when you're doing these sorts of speeds, because the wind's going to be moving over the decks so fast, and if they don't design the upholstery properly, it's going to fly off, which it didn't on this boat. It was really solid. So we've got a couple of down speakers just here, and this is our entertainment centre or heart of the boat. So Steve, why don't you go back there and then start to capture all of this, and then let's start to explain all this to people. So this is definitely a boat that you would go to a restaurant and order lunch and set it up, maybe lay the food out here and just eat your meals there. But I think you can also do the whole preparation and cooking yourself. So you come to a nice location, bring all your food, got your burner here, your burner there. This looks like a movable cutting board just here, which gives you some more prep space there, and then it reveals the sink. Oh, that's a fancy tap fitting. I like that one. I've not seen that before, because it's Italian. That's cool. I don't even know what that is, but that's great. So you got the sink just there, and then you got these nice, because the designers of this boat, I think they come from the automotive industry. You can see everywhere that you look that they've put extra attention to detail, whether it's the stainless, whether it's the stitching in these seats that match the design of this T-top supports There's all these little design cues, which is kind of cool. But we will start from the port side. This just looks like a bit of a big storage bin. They've just got some stuff for the boat show in there right now. And middle one, 2 quite considerable fridges. So that's a very large fridge just there. And yep, got full of beers, and that's a regular size fridge on top of that there. And this side's going to be, let's close that properly. And a couple of shelves and some drawers for your cutlery and all your bits and pieces in there. So that's the sensible heart of the boat. And it's worth noting we've got a downlight here and here, so that's going to flood this area in light. And then you do have 1, 2, 3, 4 drink holders to put your drinks on, obviously. But notice that the boat's not rocking around too much. We are in an exposed area here. People are belting past doing test drives. Because of the tubes, it increases the beam of the boat, which adds more stability. So the wider you get, the more stable it becomes. And as the boat gets affected by waves, those tubes will soften or dampen any of that impact. So Steve, why don't you come further forward? Speakers, subwoofers, here at the midship section. I want you to go on that side because I just like this view. It's so pretty. So you've got your midships cleats. Now, this ribs, a lot of big ribs that I have tested, they just have cleats at the bow and the stern. They forget about the middle. And that's kind of annoying when you're trying to pull into a marina or when you're trying to raft up against another boat. You would absolutely raft up against probably your mate's very luxurious boat on something like this. And having access to the side decks from the wheel and having a good solid midships cleat right here just makes the whole process a lot simpler. And then you can get your springers sorted and then your bow and stern. And that's because we have this fiberglass design stretching from the bow, which we saw in the test drive, and coming all the way down to the back of the boat. It's just much more of a substantial boat and allows us, it just allows us more mounting points. So that's what's going on. So here is the Helm Station, the most exciting part of the boat today. 1, 2, 3 seats, they're all matching. They all have flip-up bolsters, quite comfortable. And below this padded area here, it's not a storage area, it's actually the life raft storage. So you pull that out and then that's where you would deploy the life raft if you needed it. But the helm itself, it's a really, really impressive helm. First thing worth pointing out that most of will be new, it's new to me, so it should be new to you. It's the new 600 horsepower V12 Mercury throttle. So I assume this has been designed for these engines. I've not seen this throttle before, so I'm guessing that's what it is. But it's got a little digital display. I'm not going to talk about that today because it's in Italian. Enter, up, down menu. That's what that looks like there. P and S. Okay, start, stop just here. And then you've got active trim on the side. You have different profiles, so you can actually do different settings for the trim, I assume, from looking at that, and then choose what setting you want. And then you can deactivate it and go to manual operation just here. Then you can dim the light up and down for the evening. You can do single lever mode, transfer if you had multiple helms, and you've got the neutral down here as well. The ergonomics of this throttle base are quite nice. You do have the trim settings for individual motors with your fingers reaching forward if you were operating it like that, and then transitioning up to your hand is pretty comfy. The design of the helm itself, it sets the throttle back kind of where you would want it as a driver, so it's going to feel a little bit more natural and you won't get that sore shoulder if you're leaning too far forward, where throttles, some boats where they mount them in the incorrect spot. And the wheel is adjustable as well. So all of this ergonomics works really well. From a standing position, me at 5'7", I've got excellent visibility all the way across the helm and out the side. It feels quite racy. You do get a few wind vortices just here, so just be alert to what hat you're wearing or how long your hair is before you go warp speed, because it really is noticeable. When this thing kicks into second gear, you know about it. Transitioning to seating, you've got a few options. You slide out, flip it down, or you just jump up and sit on top of the bolster, and you've got a really good footrest just here, quite solid, and it's a fixed one, so it gives you like a lot of confidence when you're running at speed. Just to finish off all the detail that we have here, you've got your emergency just here. You've got your plug-in for the computer diagnostics. We have our key starts down at the bottom of the wheel, and then moving up on the starboard side, we've got the bow thruster. We got the Skyhook joystick operation by Mercury here. We got the zip brakes. Didn't use the zip brakes today. This hull is so good, I just didn't feel it was even necessary to turn them on. Maybe if I was offshore in the ocean in Sydney, maybe I'd think about it. At the moment, I just didn't see a need. Garmin, pretty big. I don't know how big these are, but they're massive. It is worth pointing out that they have a whole ZAR management system built into the Garmin media, so that can all various options and functionality throughout the boat can be operated from there, and we can also run our radar, our plotters, our finders and all that sort of stuff as you would expect. VHF just mounted on the port side of the wheel. We have the big screen Mercury display giving us all our information, and if you were wondering, because I was, how do I see what direction my motors are? Because you turn the wheel as you would, and normally you just look at the outboards, but these ones stay centered. Just here is a rudder angle indicator, and it's pretty easy to see. It's just a little progress bar that goes left or right, and then it centers, so it's pretty easy. We've got our control panel just here, blacked out with the silver buttons, anchor operation, emergency start, navigation lights, bilge pumps, blowers, horns, lights, windscreen wipers, windscreen wiper wash. That looks like battery parallel there, communications, auxiliary and internal lights. And then we have some downlights just here and Fusion tweaker speakers just up here. Grab handle as you move your way across. And it's also worth noting that this whole area is teaked, and a nice teak step board, outboard. We might have to capture that on the way back through, Steve. That's actually quite handy if you're boarding other boats, if you're doing the raft up thing, because stepping on tubes isn't as convenient as stepping on a nice piece of teak like that. So, transiting forward, we're going to go to the bow. Why don't you go up the starboard side and I'll go up the left? I just love this view. Apparently there's some famous arty person's house at the top of that hill. Some guy, I didn't know his name because I'm not really up to speed with famous people, but I flew the drone up there, and if anyone knows whose house that is, it's quite a weird looking house. Feel free to leave a comment in the description. But as you step forward, the T-top design, it's designed in such a way that you're not going to hit your head. So it goes like this, and then it allows for big blokes, and then it comes out. So it's aerodynamic, and it's not head-hitting design. It's incredibly strong. We've got the toughened glass here, and I note that they have customized these windscreen wipers. Little thing, but quite handy. I get on so many boats where they just do the standard cheap ones. They either stuff up in time, or they're so light they bounce up and down on the windscreen. Not a good look at speed, like it just feels a bit cheap, but also like operationally that doesn't make sense. So this is the way to do it. I like that. I assume they've just custom made this bit of metal here and used the rest windscreen wiper there. So now, Ali, come on. I need you to test this Sun Lounge, your official Sun Lounge test out today.
Coming.
Jump on that and tell me how it feels. All right. So we obviously got the forward-facing Sun Lounge. This was rock solid at 54 knots. This cushion here is designed, feeling good?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, excellent.
I can nap now.
How many drink holders do we have there? Just tell the audience.
1, 2, 3, 4. Plenty for one person.
Okay. So grab handle here, grab handle there. Space, I would throw your phones and things just in there because that's going to be out of the way and it won't get blown off when you're doing some speed. And then when we're in social mode, I'll just display this side. Oh, that's comfy. So this is what it's all about, isn't it? So we got this. This grab handle here is really conveniently set in. It's also nice, like sort of place, like armrest, so to speak. But externally, you're not going to notice it looking out because it's level with this fiberglass design. Pop-up cleat, little drink holders just here in the bow itself, and the anchor. Obviously, it's an auto anchor, but it's accessible and visible from here, really easy. So there's just your quick anchor windlass, gal chain, stainless anchor itself. Couple more speakers, and then a few more down lights up here in the bow as well. I think I've covered everything. At the top of the roof, we've got the radar, and we've just got normal aerials. Nothing too crazy to talk about up there. And you'll see it in the test drive. This bow area is very unique because the ZAR guys design in this wonderful cutting action, which then goes down to about 4 air steps below the hull, and it is noticeable and really suitable for these motors. Come on downstairs and let's see what it's like below. Okay, we're actually back at the boat show. Miles away we were from the show, but we got there in about 4 minutes. Thank you, Mercury. So down inside, you just come down these 3 teak stairs with a nice stainless steel support, and you come into kind of like, it feels like a foyer. You know, just remember, we're on a day boat, we're on a rib. But you got this stone bench top here, you got felt finishing, timber, and then darker timber floors mixed in with some of the fiberglass structure itself. You have a window with an opening, small opening port just here. And then you actually have quite intelligently placed technical access to the inside of the tube. So accessing things like the pumps, not the pumps, the tube air intake is possible. So that's quite clever. But we've got a storage little locker here. We've got sliding doors just here with storage and some electrical access here. Bilge, and then bilge access here as well, in the next cabin, I should say. And then you've got grey water sump pump access, I noticed. We have a 240 and 12 volt panel, all quite cleverly marked. It's in English and with little pictures as well. So you've got everything from your shore power operation there, water, inverter, service sockets, etc. And then all your other bits and pieces down here. Got a Garmin display here. What's that? That is telling me, oh right, okay, that's tanks. That looks like it's all tank information and other feed outs. Light switches here and here. And then I think I'm just going to go forward. You go into what is probably the master. I say probably because you'll see in a sec. Very luxurious finish. Like, I think, is this the head of the bed? Maybe, because there are some reading lights just here and here. So yeah, you probably would sleep this way, because then if you need to go to the loo, it's going to be reasonably easy just to slide straight out of bed. You just got to pay attention to this design element here so you don't bang your head on it, although it is soft. If you found that an issue, you just sleep the other way around. We've got some strip lighting around, and then we've got some strip lighting facing up, so the ambience at night is going to be quite nice. I do see an air conditioning outlet there as well, and opening hatches there and there. Then in terms of headroom, you do have quite a bit of space here. I see another opening hatch there now. Don't worry about privacy because there's no blinds on these windows, but the hull is straight out that window, so nobody's going to see you getting changed. And it's not of a design where anyone even up on the lounge is going to notice you, so privacy's fine. And then I've got a Fusion speaker just behind me there and a couple of power outlets I didn't notice before. I did notice that this actually popped up somewhere. Oh, there you go. There you go. Gas struts, a little bit of storage there. They've got some brochures in there for the boat show, obviously. So that's handy storage. Bow thruster access below. Now, in this part of the cabin, heaps of headroom, lots of space. Another bench top here and cupboards with a shelf just in there. So you can put a couple of day bags if you need. And then we've got hanging locker just here and a little shelf on top of that. And more of this stone finish replicated just up here. And then I think, Steve, you come in here and turn around, and then there's another cabin. Like, remember, guys, we're in a rib, so it is a crawl space to get in. But once you're in, just come and check this out. This is a massively luxurious bed. It's huge, and we've got little storage nooks on either side. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got some opening ones as well. We've got reading lights here. This is air conditioned. I've got 2 forward-facing windows. The design goes up underneath, probably, what's that? That's going to be near the seats, and you can let some natural air in here. And you've even got a sliding closing door, so you can lock this area off in the air conditioning with the lighting. You've got the strip lighting, the little reading lights, and all your storage nooks. So for a night, this is actually going to be great. So 2 adult couples could comfortably sleep on this boat, which is not something you can say for most ribs. So that's pretty impressive. So you do have to be reasonably physically active to get out of here. So, you know, make sure you've been doing your Pilates, girls, before you go in there. But that's okay. You probably will have been if you're on a boat like this. So The head is another pleasant surprise. So just, Steve, come around and let's just make sure. I'll pop in and let's open that door now. A separate shower is not something you would expect on a day boat. And we've got a full stand-up separate shower. We've got a little seating. This is the sort of thing I see on a lot of the big cruises that I walk through or test. We've got the adjustable shower rail. I've got a whole rain head shower thing, so that's going to be quite luxurious. And you can let the steam out through here. Tinted window, no blinds, but again, you know, it's so high, no one's going to see anything. It's not really a problem. And quite a solid shower door, which makes sense considering the speed this boat is capable of doing. The vanity itself, black with a fancy bowl, nice tap fitting again. They did good tap fittings, these guys. This is a porcelain loo. Got some storage under here for your cleaning gear, toilet roll storage, Technam toilet, charging points just there, and a loo roll holder and brush just immediately next to it. So that's everything you need, really. That's very good. Makes this boat a proper weekender. Okay, guys, that was a really educational experience. This is the first boat that I've tested that was specifically designed for these 600 V12s. What can I say? They've done a bloody good job. This is a hull with a long water line, nice cutting action, air steps, and good aeration below the tubes. It gets along at a great clip, incredibly comfortable, and it feels solid and safe at ridiculously high speeds that it is capable of doing. But once you've done your height speeds and you get to your destination, this boat is really, really well set up for enjoying yourself. So you and a couple of mates, if you want to overnight, or just you and a partner and you just want to feel like a rock star, this ZAR Imagine 130 does all of that for you. So whether you want to tender to your big boat, whether you just want to have something like this to do your med cruising, your Sydney Harbour, your Perth or your Gold Coast, it's going to do that. You're going to feel special and you're going to have a bloody good time. And I think that is the purpose of looking at something like this. So guys, if you like these videos that I create, please give us a like, maybe subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you want to support more of this content, I have a Patreon account now. I'd appreciate it if you'd sign up and give us some support so I can create more videos like this for you. Anyway, my name's Dan Jones. This has been Dan's Boat Life. Thank you. See you on the next one.